Radiant team hits.
All right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Dota 2 Champions League coming at you here. Game number 2 now. We got Team Spirit going up against EWF here in this best of 3. And right now, Spirit up 1-0 after a very, very decisive game number 1 right there by the team that definitely is expected to be coming out on top here this series. But EWF, they banned Monkey King this time around, so who knows what could happen here in this game, as he was no doubt the key to the victory last time around. Breaky CBK joined by Z-Rock here. Again, EWF, you mentioned, they won their first round matchup. They beat Elements Pro Gaming, actually, doing so, and that's a legitimate team, no doubt. Very good victory for them, and they looked good doing so. So I'm expecting a better performance here in Game 2, but that was rough, though, in the first game.
I mean, it doesn't take much to have a better performance than Game 1.
True.
That was painful in a lot of ways.
Yeah. But it's understandable that we see that hero banned.
EWF left the Vengeance now. Oh, no. But Slaughter being picked up by Spirit, the obvious first pick left on the board. We'll have to see if they also want to go for the Keeper of the Light. Another one that's been absent in the band so far this morning. Wow, they take the Venge.
Clearly is a worthy ban.
All right, so, I mean, Spirit already has a ton of minus armor in these 2 picks between the Wave of Terror and the Corrosive Haze. They could look to kind of make a synergistic draft out of that also has just a copious amount of minus armor. Shadow Fiend is a notable mid lane hero that would help provide that. And we'll have to see. We've also seen the TA when paired with the Slardar that also works really well with Venge. The only downside to that, then, is you're running a ton of physical damage. And then stuff like Ghost Scepters get to be very effective against the lineup. So yeah, we'll have to see what route they decide to go here.
Yeah, I like the idea that I kind of like that. I consider that to be the holy trinity. Way back when, even the whole Slaughter, Vengeful, Shadow Fiend combination. You talk about killing Ro8 quickly. That's a team that's very good for that, obviously.
Yeah, it is. But, I think the TA actually does it slightly faster. There's permanent uptime on Meld's minus armor. It's a little more than Shadow Fiend's, and her damage output in like the level 7 to level 10 range is a little bit higher there for Roche. But yeah, that is going to get banned out. But the nice part about SF is it smooths out your damage curve a little bit. You're not all in on the physical, because Razes do a ton of damage. Requiem does a lot of damage. So, and I think it's a good counter to Ursa overall. If you have some peel for the Ursa so he's not just insta-popping your Shadow Fiend, getting that Requiem off and getting the 50% damage reduction from it is huge.
That's true.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that a lot of people seem to forget about that ability, and I have to remind myself definitely time to time. It's more than just simply a huge AoE wombo combo tool. That's it. When you see a Shadow Fiend use it off to the side in a fight, you kind of, that was a horrible Requiem. Well, I mean, not necessarily, because if anything, they're using it just simply to get the debuff up with the damage reduction, as you mentioned, but also the move speed decrease. So yeah, it is overall a great tool.
And if you go in Ags, they heal.
Oh, it actually heals with the Ags? I did not even know that. Okay.
Yeah, the backswing on the souls where they're coming back in, any damage you do from that heals.
Huh. Even better. Get that
that was always
back.
That was the Tomato special for a while. He would just go a third item Ags, and when they were trying to push high ground at 20 minutes, because that was their whole game plan, he'd just blow the Ags to heal and slam it on anybody he could connect it on just to heal up in the middle of a man fight.
It seems odd, yeah. All right, well, probably not going to see that, but...
Well, yeah, we'll have to see. I think it's a good pick here either way. I just don't think we'll see the eggs. So EWF probably needs to look to pick up the Centaur here. If anything, I think we can say that time and time again has proven the Centaur Slardar are pretty much close to parity right now. And if one team gets one, you kind of have to pick the other. Any team we've seen try the Sand King, it's bombed out. It's shown it's a tier below the Slardar and the Centaur. So we'll have to see if EWF can change my opinion and my experience on this.
Why is that, though? I mean, Sand King, his skill set really
10
does seem strong. We
seconds
mentioned his
remaining.
laning presence is actually good. Why is he a tier
Dire
lower, would you
team
say?
pick.
A lot of his damage output comes from Epi. And if you're going to pick a Rubik, especially, like you have Double Edge from Centaur putting out almost the same damage as a level 1 Epi at level 7 every like 4 seconds
10
versus every
seconds
120.
remaining.
It also doesn't cost mana to use Double Edge. It costs a ton of mana to
5
use
seconds
Epicenter.
remaining.
You know, you got a channel Epi. Yeah, you get the slow. That's
Resolve
what's
time.
missing from Double Edge, but it's just not as good. Like, sure, Burrow is a better initiation tool than Blink Stomping on Centaur, but yeah, it just really doesn't do quite enough, especially with the kind of supports we're seeing.
Yeah.
Like, if we were seeing a meta where they had like Leshrac supports and really high damage supports, that can change a little bit. But we're not in that kind of meta.
Shadow Demon. We're going a little bit old school here. This is a hero that's died off completely, honestly. I have not seen a Shadow Demon in a while. When I think about it.
Yeah.
We saw like never during the Kiev qualifiers either, at least in our region. So
They just got, I mean, been incrementally nerfed over and over, and they've nerfed illusions over and over. So at a certain point, he kind of
10
just hit that.
seconds remaining.
People lingered on him for a while and said, no, it's still strong, it's still strong, it's still strong. And the
5
build kept
seconds
changing.
remaining.
The original Shadow Demon build was Max Poison. Then it was Max Soul Catcher. Then it was Max Disruption. Then it was back to Max Soul Catcher. And there's just so much versatility in his toolkit that people were picking him up no matter what. But yeah, we'll have to see. It pairs nicely with the Venge if you're going to run core Venge.
10
And giving you a
seconds
defensive
remaining.
tool in the Disruption. The Illusions can do something late game because it's still an Agi
5
ranged hero.
seconds remaining.
So I don't mind the pick here. This Veno, though, might throw a wrench in things.
good to see a Veno again. Again, so far we haven't necessarily seen a.
It's 1-0 in this tournament.
I guess it is, yeah. I was just about to say I haven't seen a great. No, it's 2-0. Or we saw it yesterday, I thought too. Hold on.
Did we see it twice yesterday?
I think we saw it in the first round once, and it did decent. Or no, it was one. That's right. I saw it on Penta in that first.
It was
game.
the super throwy game, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, an Alchemist!
Wait, this is weird, huh? Oh, we do see an
What's up?
Alchemist. Well, I'm looking at the Dota buffer quickly. The Wikipedia. Wikipedia has Penta versus Oaken.
10
It has
seconds
Viper
remaining.
as their pick rather than Venomancer. But we definitely didn't see a Viper yesterday,
5
so
seconds
No.
remaining.
I'm pretty sure it was Venomancer. So it's just kind of funny how that's showing up. Anyways, Alchemist, as you
Radiant
mentioned, yeah,
team ban.
coming out here to match up against the Veno, perhaps.
Now you've got me looking at the Dota book.
Well, I haven't checked the Dota buff actually. Let me click on that and see if it's the same.
But yeah,
Oh, it is
the
Venomancer. Okay.
Alch pick was definitely something that I
5
think
seconds
I talked with
remaining.
you a long time about, where I think this is going to be first pick at the end of this patch.
Reserve time.
I think Greevil's Greed is insane with a reduction on melee bounty from creeps. Like, we are seeing people just having less gold in the early game, and Alch doesn't have that problem, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this greedy farming Alchemist with something aggressive like the Vengeful Slaughter combo is going to be insane. I think this will be a very good pick. If he doesn't fall so far behind, he just gets gibbed by Ursa every time Ursa looks at him.
Alternate
yeah.
Attacks was the other team to run it, by the way.
Oh, okay.
They
okay.
did run it in the final game against Pro Dota. So it is 2-0 from yesterday. But again, I don't remember either performance being like that standout. So
Yeah, the Lund Druid kind of ran train on him.
yeah, that was a little more
so
the
far
impact.
ahead.
But yeah, and also the idea with Venomancer, though, like we had the discussion yesterday, too, where kind of both in agreement that it would be fun to see more of that team fight, you know, the Yags, the Blink Dagger even, and kind of get into the front lines and get that big Poison Nova off. So, I mean, I assume he's
Yeah.
going to go more the right click, because, again, that's been the trend, and that's what people are doing, but maybe eventually we'll see that adaptation here, but...
Yeah, we'll have to
10
see.
seconds remaining.
With the nerf to Hurricane Pike, maybe Veno. I mean, Veno's definitely one to get hit pretty hard by that because he wanted to get that Hurricane Pike extremely early. So, yeah, we'll have to
Radiant
see.
pick.
Final pick. So what do they need? They need it depends what the Vengeful is, I guess, but you assume he's going to be a core.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a Dazzle here. I think it would be an okay way to mitigate some of the Vano damage coming out would give you the Grave if they go on somebody with Ursa. And it's a second tool, a defensive tool, in conjunction with the Disruption.
So you think they want to support still?
Ooh.
Oh, they are going to go more of a support here with Jakiro. I thought it was going to be a Slaughter 4 with the Shadow Demon 5, and then they did an offlane here, but...
I mean, we've seen Jakiro in every role in Dota, I believe, at some point in time. We've seen a one Jakiro that just pushed towers with Liquid Fire. We saw mid Jakiro rise up for a little while.
5 seconds remaining.
I heard offlane theory crafted, but I would doubt it.
That's kind of hitting me as... Ooh, Coddle final pick right there. But I'm thinking back... I know I saw Jakiro also right after 7.03, and it might have been Team Spirit actually once again. And I think they did do an offlane of sorts with Jakiro.
It may just be that they're ahead one game and want to show off the new model. Because Jakiro did get an update in this last patch, so he doesn't look like garbage. Like, look at this beautiful, beautiful dragon right now.
It looks good, yeah.
It's kind of weird. I actually haven't seen it. I have not seen a Jakiro in my games.
It's understandable.
But the last pick, Coddle, like, the fact is this hero is contested so heavily in the first couple of rounds of this tourney. Literally never made it through ban phase, I don't think, in any of the games I casted, like first ban. So seeing in with that last pick, Coddle, we'll have to see what they can do with it.
What they can muster up. Yeah, no, it was. I was checking back on Dota Buff, and it was DK Phobos playing it, and yeah, he is playing it here, sure enough. So they are going to be running that offlane, the offlane Jakiro here, as well. So that's kind of talk about theory crafting, and apparently they've theory crafted. Not only that, they're going to execute it. At least try to.
Yeah. Let's see. And again, we can't draw too much off of last game. They let an obvious first ban through that punished them heavily on the side of EWF. So we'll have to see a more straight up, I guess, traditional style game here. I don't see any team exploding out of the gate and coming out ahead 20 kills by 10 minutes like last game. So we'll get a little more Dota in this one for sure.
Yeah. No, I really am hoping for a better game. I mean, the last thing we want to see is just a complete 2-0 complete stop here in our first series. So, especially since we even have an hour break that was planned for after a 3-hour series here, at least the timetable. So, could be a longer break here. We'll see. Well, we'll get into that obviously if
30 seconds.
Well, Spirit coming out strong with the early D ward.
Oh, did they? They got
they
the one
do.
down here,
They do catch the D ward and Dire. Yep. In their own jungle, in the Radiant jungle, they managed to grab that. So,
Coddle setting up as if he is going to be aggressive here with the Sand King, and that seems like where Coddle usually ends up in the aggressive dual lane. Spam that Illuminate. So hard. Oh, nice counter ward themselves though. How about that?
Yeah, great. Honestly, just great awareness to be able to find these wards early on. Takes a lot of knowing the other team and kind of gauging where they show up after the smokes do pop to take those guesses. The Ursa actually banked almost 300 gold going into this lane, which is a little strange. Normally people are going to buy out most of their gold. Probably looking for some early boots into phase boots.
Got here Alchemist versus Venomancer. And Alchemist not afraid to kind of stand up in the front lines here, but we got to figure over time that's going to add up. I guess he doesn't have that Poison Sting just yet. He did go the Venomous Gale first, but once he gets the Poison Sting, then definitely going to be hard to stand his ground. But as bottom lane, that's a Pearl Strike, but it's not the most distance actually. Crush will connect, and now he's in trouble. Sly, he's just going to throw out an Illuminate at least to, if anything, try to make the presence of a turn kill real, and that will be enough to get them off, but a lot of pressure already on this Sand King. Van scored. Did he overstep his boundaries?
No, I wanted to clear out the clarity on Coddle really badly. Because that was the... like, Coddle only has 2 clarities. If they break this next one, he really can't do anything until level 2.
This seems like a deadly trial lane. You got Slaughter, Disruptor, as well as the Vengeful Core. Of course, a lot of stun lockdown, a lot of setup here with the as we see right there, with the Disruption. I said Disruptor, I meant Shadow Demon, but Disruption ability. I always get that confused.
Stop it.
Yeah, most people do. It happens. And yeah, we're seeing what I said many times yesterday. The Vengeful Spirit didn't want to give up the wave of CS it would have roughly taken to get the kill on Coddle. So it ends up just farming it out, even though they did find a pretty good initiation on the Keeper.
That was DK Phobos doing up here at the top lane. He's hit level 2 here, so he
surviving.
has a dual breath. Yeah, that's the idea. Just poke in damage every once in a while, but he needs to be careful, of course. That's why he went, yeah, I think I remember this too. He went the double Fairy Fire in that game also, so just really making sure he has that way to survive in this game.
And it gives him 4 hold damage.
That's true. That's the difference maker right there. That's why he does it, I'm sure.
Good job from Phobos to walk over and contest that hard creep, though. Splitting the experience with Rubik is pretty important in the early game.
See bottom lane, Slaughter and Vansker again being patient. They're going to get Burrow Strike down, but the Crush also comes out. Thus was disjointed, actually, so puts a lot of pressure on his Slaughter, forces him out top lane. Jakiro, here comes a flank. Going to be seeing the lift, I'm sure? No, he's not going to lift just yet. Fairy Fire 1 already popped. Has another one in a couple of seconds. Mani Diesel right here. He's going to be lifted up, tossed back. Pop the Fairy Fire. Yes, he pops it at the last second, but it just doesn't matter. There's the first blood. Yeah, Jakiro's vulnerable.
Ursa doing exactly what I said. Picked up early boots, which gave him the kill pressure in that lane. So nicely done. And that's going to make it a lot harder without somebody rotating up to help DK Phobos here. Like, he's going to get a huge wave under his tower, which is going to give him a lot of XP, but his risk of dying is very high for the rest of this lane.
I'm going to be curious to see how DK Phobos continues on with the game here. He is maxing out that Liquid Fire, of course. And I mean, I've mentioned this before. We rarely see Jakiro, but as usually ran as a support option, in this case happens to be off lane, but his split push is pretty powerful. Again, that Liquid Fire, excellent tool for pushing the towers, clearing creep waves, of course, with the dual breath on top of that. So he will definitely push the lanes pretty heavily throughout the game. But
yeah, the problem you run into is his split push isn't great because his wave clear isn't great. It takes him a while to clear out creeps, and because of that, he doesn't work as well splitting on his own. He does very well if they want to just group as a 4-man ball early game, though. If they want to just use this Venge, but the Venge isn't going the max Aura build, which would be what I would expect. She's maxing Missile, or at least put 2 points into it early. And I thought the strategy was going to be you get level 7 on Venge, you get a Dragon Lance up, and you just start pushing towers with that max Vengeance Aura. But opting not to go that route, so...
Yeah, I wonder if that's an adaptation to the lane, being that it was like a 3 versus 2, and figured there's going to be a lot of combat early on, so that's where Magic Missile, of course, is going to be better. But that's kind of gone away now, so...
It definitely could be that idea. Those extra points can really be the difference maker in damage.
Top lane, Slaughter's up here. Rubik, though, keeping his distance. He saw him coming, so he's going to be fine. A port to the middle lane will be Slaughter. Looking to set up a kill on a Venomancer. Speaking of a target that could be easier to kill because it doesn't have the greatest escape, there's the setup with Disruption, and that's an easy kill. As the Goot is put down, but at what cost for them? The turn kill on a Vansker, actually. Oh, he's denied. Well played right there by FNG. Iceberg going to be lifted back in, but not enough follow-up damage. Now, Shadow is the one going to be run down here by FNG. Going to miss that Illuminate. Chemical Rage has been popped by Alchemist, but again, they didn't want to dive too crazy right here, especially with Veno coming back in. So that'll be the end of it. But yeah, well played with the deny, actually. That's a powerful tool against the Venomancer.
Yeah, Veno kind of came back into the meta after the last few changes here. So Plague Ward used to be the max build every time. You'd want to push buildings really early, and it was back when you could grab an Iron Talon and get, like, what was the record on it? Level 5 by 2 minutes and 40 seconds or something? I mean, it was insane. You just grab some early levels and just push hard with it. But then they made it so Venomous Gale actually does tick damage at level 1. It used to do like 100 initial damage, and then it would do no tick damage. And it was just an odd distribution, so people just weren't taking it. But they find a kill bottom with that Disruption Soul Catcher combo.
Oh, that's another kill, though, on Jakiro. So eye for an eye, really, as DK Phobos will fall right there once again. So clearly having a difficult time. And yeah, they're playing this well up here. You mentioned with the Ursa, getting those earlier on boots. Now he has phase boots, and it's almost like, I don't know if Jakiro should be coming back to this top lane, man, because it seems like he just can't do anything against Ursa. He just wants to run right at him. He doesn't even have Ice Path.
It's one of those trade-offs, right? You're giving Ursa this accelerated start, which is very terrifying to give an Ursa, but you're getting a lot out of the offlane. Like he's almost level 6 at 6 minutes as an offlaner, which is very difficult to do in the current state of things. So it's just all a trade-off, and it comes down to whether or not they can use it.
Oh, middle lane. They want to set up a kill right here. The Poison Nova already used, but with that Chemical Rage, yeah, it feels like he should be fine. In fact, now Venomancer the one in trouble. Vansker comes in with the disruption. The goo ticking down. Nyx, though, he's going to survive for now. The Illuminate coming through, and actually, Alchemist not so fine. The Barrel Strike connects. All of a sudden, 4 heroes are here, and he will go down. FNG sprinting away. He should survive, and that will be the end of it.
Super greedy to not back up after he didn't die there. Like, the out got initiated on heavily by roams from the Dire squad, and all he had was the disruptor to help bail him out, and walks forward.
Oh, top lane. I caught that as well happening. The SWAT, though, that was a good play by both sides right there. Oh, the Wave of Terror that will connect. Even level 1 gets the kill. That's unfortunate.
Level 1 Wave of Terror.
Yeah.
So good.
He made a great play initially by, well, he was diving Jakiro and 1 auto attack from Wave, but then the port and the swap from Bench will happen. However, he wasn't able to get the magic missile off in time as he just ran the other way immediately with the phase boost. So, but obviously the Wave of Terror snipes him out in the end. So well played there. Ultimately by Vengeful Spirit, despite the efforts. That's always embarrassing, though. Yeah, how much damage does that even do? Like 50?
30.
30 damage. 45. It says 45. Right.
It's physical, though.
Oh, true. It's mitigation, yeah. Yeah, that should never get a kill, but it does right there. And Magic Missile going to lock down Neuropunk 41 right here, but just saving his own teammate. He is keeping that Magic Missile leveling up, by the way. As now they find Jakiro, though. And I don't think Jakiro's getting out of this one unless the swap, but not going to be worth it. Doesn't even have mana anyways.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So the Ursa is opting for the early Helm of Dom build, it looks like, unless we're going to see a throwback and he goes Vlad's, which we'll have to see. I mean, Dom is just nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and people still want to buy it. And Ursa, I think, was definitely one of those that only picked it up because it was a gold-efficient item.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Dire, though, looking to
though,
push this tower.
health regen. I still feel like it's got potential. Yes, the higher cost hurts on a core especially, but
It gives
so
20 attack speed for 2,000 gold.
I mean, if you just look at it from that, yeah, but with it affects your teammates, and then the health regen, there is impact there. And the dominating the creep, I think, is still arguably obviously the most powerful tool of it.
Yeah,
But
it definitely is.
I understand why there's different opinions, and why we have seen the drop off.
Interesting little, oh, Coddle's dead. Coddle's very dead.
God, that level 4 magic missile is doing a lot.
It does do a substantial amount of damage. But one thing that was cool there, Dire knew they had a DD on Venomancer. They wanted to take that tower, so they scanned below the tower. They didn't have a good way to get vision of it because there's no Plague Wards up yet, so they just scanned, saw no one was there, and committed to taking it.
Good heads up there. So that's some nice team gold coming out. In fact, Sand King loving that. He's 1,400 gold saved up, so the Blink Dagger it's actually coming along pretty nicely right here. Only 10 minutes into the game right now. Gonna have that earlier on. Hannah Midas is gonna be the item choice for Venomancer.
No.
Greed is real. As Alchemist, speaking of greed, he's got his armlet finished and well in the works of that Sacred Relic.
I'm actually really surprised by the armlet pickup. It is going to slow the game down for the Dire squad quite a bit. In a lineup that seems like they're really tempo-based. The Ursa doesn't scale super well with items. Sure, Veno's a good right-clicker in the sense that it's like a controlling right-click. You can win a lot of 1v1s if you play them right. But I feel like they want to be running at this Alchemist early. I don't think you want to give him time to get to the Relic, Radiance, all the big scary items that are going to come out after that.
Well, they choose to go that route right here. See what kind of an effect it has. DK Phobos again at the top lane. He's in trouble. However, he helps set up a turn kill onto the Rubik. Here comes the Pearl Strike to finish off Jakiro, but now in a bad spot. Ursa's in trouble as well. Popsy in a rage. Out comes the Epicenter from Yogurt, doing a little bit of spread damage right there, but no kills as a result. However, Neuropunk 41 is going to live because of the distraction, if anything, by Sand King. So well played right there. That's used to save your core in that case. The Poison Nova comes out. That's a dead Shadow Demon for sure. They want the Vengeful. The Illuminate connects. And the Blinding Light pushback. But the Pearl Strike missed as a result. Oh, that's awkward right there. Now Yogurt's going to get turned on. And Nyx on the Venomancer also going to get picked off. The Crush to finish the job there. Oh, that really is unfortunate.
So we saw a time where anti-mages were being picked up here and there, and they would only get 1 point or no points in mana break because of disruption, so they didn't burn their own mana when they got disrupted. The same thing happened to Veno there. He got poison stung by Zone Illusions, and the slow is just too much.
That's true. Yeah, that's. I wonder if that had a insight as to why they picked up. Although I think they picked up the Shadow Demon actually even before the Venomancer. So, yeah, never mind.
Although Rubik's still coming for rage. Oh boy.
Uh-oh. He's scary now.
Gonna just, go all hide on them, pop the potion.
Hey, could be a good bait tool. They're not careful.
If he doesn't just die.
He doesn't just actually die, yeah. You never know.
Like, that's the problem with Chemical Rage and Alchemist early on. Sometimes they will underestimate their base HP pool and pop it, and sure, you have a ton of regen, but if you get gibbed instantly, it doesn't really matter. Chemical Rage used to give max health, too, and no longer.
I don't think anyone shed a tear over that.
Oh, it didn't have the regen it had either. It was mostly an HP adding tool.
Oh,
but Alchemist has Relic up already. 12 minutes. Closing in on Radiance.
Oh, they know Sand King was here. He was hiding here, but they had the Observer Ward spotting him. He tried to destroy also the Unstable Concoction. He failed at that, but he is going to live in the long run. Despite that Soul Catcher being on him. So good getaway there.
More Sand King Burrow doesn't disjoint in the traditional sense anymore. It's not like a waveform or a Storm Spirit jump where you're actually invulnerable. You can die during Burrow.
It was Sandstorm he used.
Oh, yeah.
That still would, right? If you use it correctly.
Concoction, yeah.
So he has that ability, but yeah, it seemed like he used it early, and then it just hit as a result. So
the nice part about Concoction is it's like one of the few skills in the game that can't be disjointed.
Oh. Okay, never mind then. Actually, well, why is that the case? That's kind of weird.
I don't know. It's just how it is.
Just one of those reasons.
Like, if it was a magic missile, sure. He already destroyed one, but...
Who do they catch here? That's the Rubik. And speaking of that level 4 magic missile again, doing plenty of damage. He is leveling up the Vengeance Aura now, so going to have effect here. Ursa did end up finishing the Vlads, as you were mentioning earlier, by the way. That over the helm of the Dominator, so a little more old school here. Pointing out. DK Phobos will pour it in, though. He has a Macro Fire now as well, so... has solid teamfight presence there.
This makes the Midas from Veno even more weird, though. Like, Vlad's from Ursa signals they want to group earlier. He would have just gone Blink Dagger. And it's kind of an odd disjoint between the two heroes here.
Well, he has that with the XP gain talent, so we'll see his levels start adding up. Keeper of the Light, though, middle lane. He's going to be killed right there. I believe he got swapped in initially, so nice find.
Ooh.
Shadow Demon trying to mitigate the damage on his slaughter. Deny him? Yeah.
Just couldn't quite save him enough.
No. Meanwhile, Shadow Demon is going to get lifted himself. How comes a Venomous Gale? And there's an Epicenter used. All right. I don't think they're really that concerned. That's quite the commitment right there, just simply for the Shadow Demon kill.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations that when are you going to get a use out of that?
Ursa's chasing down the Alchemist, actually. He's the one with the double damage rune, but he's trying to survive. He's not going to. It looks like Rubik coming in. Lift on him. Yogurt's here as well, but not even necessary. Those Fury Swipes adding up, and they find an outkill, which is huge. I mean, you look at the net worth. He is really taking off now with that Radiance.
Yeah, he really has. And it's going to just get way worse.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They're rotating towards the top lane here, so the Jakiro impact, I don't know, have you felt the Jakiro impact yet? I guess in the lane he's been doing all right, but it seems like he hasn't been doing too much this game.
Over the potential of something like a Centaur? No, not really. They've done some nice stuff where it's like disrupt Soul Catcher into an Ice Path Liquid Fire Dual Breath, does a lot of damage. They picked up a couple kills with that, but I have to feel like you could have just disrupt, stomped, and double edged and gotten the same effect.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to point out how broke this Slaughter is.
It's going to help find the kill on a Venomancer, and actually they will also find a Rubik, so double kill for the team coming out.
They also got a Rubik too, so another smoke down. He hit the wrong button.
Oops.
I don't know what button he was supposed to be hitting.
Oh, Burrow Strike connects, and they actually get the turn kill on a Vengeful Spirit, but now Yogurt, he's in trouble. Macro fires down, the disruption onto him. He does not have a bro strike for a couple of seconds, maybe in time. Oh, he goes back in with it, actually. So screw what? Turn kills, the Illuminate going through. And he sets up those turn kills right there. Mana Leak stun to happen on Advanced. The Shrinies, but he gets pushed away by the Blinding Light. Well played by Cuddle there. And he gets a double kill out of that whole situation. So great finish, actually.
Yeah.
With Dire Side.
Really well done. That's the blink reveal on Ursa. First time he's shown it on the map. And I can't imagine that Spirit was expecting that blink dagger to come out so quick.
Nice commitment by Sand King there, too. Again,
should be Roshan if he doesn't get chain bashed. Yeah, Shadow taking for him.
You were mentioning about Slaughter, though.
Oh, he is broke. He has 300 gold.
Oh, in that sense. Oh, he's
17
broken.
minutes.
Okay. I think you meant like the hero was broken. I was just like,
no, like he's not gonna have a blink dagger for the foreseeable ever.
That's not gonna help.
And they really, really lack team fight initiation until he gets that. So, yeah, this is looking a little rough. They didn't put any farm priority on either of the two supports on Spirit, and getting punished for it a little bit here.
Look at this Ursa's just going off, too. The Blink Dagger's been such a big pickup. Vengeful gets swapped out, but it won't matter. She swaps herself out with Jakiro. Still dies in the process, and now TK Phobos in an awkward spot. The epicenter on him. He's going to fall as well. It's just getting worse and worse for Team Spirit. Kind of throwing themselves at them one by one.
That was some save your teammate, well, not save your teammate syndrome. It's like forcibly saving as he swapped in his Jakiro to his death. But yeah, not good. This is the spike for EWF for sure, and the Alchemist just got his farming core done. He just got this Radiance armlet, and to be honest, I don't know if he still wants to go this Manta that we normally see.
What would he go instead?
You could go something like an AC or a pipe or even a Shadow Blade. Like it almost seems like they need some items to fight here because he's not going to get the time to split.
And
like,
he's dead again. Yeah, he is having trouble. And is that a macro? Oh, that's a Rubik macro fire. Still right there. I was wondering about that.
So Rubik is one of the better heroes in Jakiro because all of Jakiro's spells have really long cast points. They take forever to go off. And Rubik has the luxury of not worrying about cast points because all of his skills come off instantly when they're stolen. So very, very nice to be able to grab the macro fire and just fling it down right away in a fight.
Wait, really? So he doesn't have to worry about the charge up that Jakiro would?
Yeah, no, he doesn't have that huge backswing on all of his spells. They just pop off.
Wow, that's actually pretty intense then for abilities such as that. He has that advantage there. That's pretty cool.
That's where you get some cool benefits with the eggs when you have those really fast chain spell steals. The greatest Rubiks you'll see weaving spells in a team fight so fast.
All right, so Rubik potent here this game. He's level 10 as well, so a 60 gold per minute talent. Venomancer, though, I will say the Hand of Midas, again, mixed with that talent, he's level 16. Yeah. So that's where the benefit is happening.
Yeah, they're in a position right now that's very, very commanding on the Dire side. They've got such strong team fight that Spirit doesn't want to group up and try to 5v5 them. They have these insane pickoff potentials with this Ursa having Blink Dagger and Sand King as well. And it's one of those situations where Spirit's trying to hide and cluster and get some farm in the Salk. They're kind of all in on his success right now.
Yeah.
Look at Venge's net worth.
It's horrible.
Like the Coddle is going to be ahead of her in a matter of seconds. Coddle has Ags done.
Yeah. That's obviously a huge core to have, especially this early on. And I was also looking at the net worth chart in general. And yeah, when you have an Alchemist on your side, it feels like that you should at least be like somewhat even, if not winning, the net worth chart at this early on especially. It's not the case. I mean, he himself is doing fantastic, but that just goes to show how really struggling his teammates are doing. And you mentioned that they're so all in on Iceberg here, playing the Alchemist. So
yeah, and it's kind of some echoing punishment for the way Phobos played the offlane. It was a fairly greedy route where he got a bunch of XP, but he gave so much to the Ursa.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Sand King, he's going to find I guess he's found Disruption used on him, but this is a fight that EWF wants to take, it feels like. Chemical Rage is activated. Looking to go on the Sand King, but now Ursa's here, and all of a sudden Alchemist needs to be scared about that. He's trying to kite away. Buyback actually on the Sand King immediately. They know this is a big fight right here. Out comes the Poison Nova from Venomancer, doing a lot of spread damage. So watch those life bars start ticking down. In fact, the port out from Vengeful. He's still going to die in the well, though, as a result of that poison on him. And that will be the only kill maybe that they'll find.
Nope.
Yeah,
Veno.
everyone else gets out.
Veno's gonna die to poison sting,
Oh,
maybe.
Veno.
Needs one auto. It's not gonna kill him.
Oh, he is going to die.
It did.
Okay, well, I get a turn kill at least. Feeling his own burn right there. Yeah, that was a buyback Sand King too.
That's a really, really huge team fight win for Spirit because of the buyback. Although I do have to say, this Venge has to stop swapping teammates into bad positions so he can try to live. He's done it 3 times, and all 3 times his death was all but guaranteed.
Still dead, yeah. It's that poison's so deceptive. It's like you feel like, oh, I'm gonna barely get away with any life, but it's no, it'll kill you. Like you're dead basically.
Yeah, and it's minor, but EWF managed to hold that top T1. Like that was the initial objective. That's what started all that fight, and it's still standing. But FNG did get a ton out of that fight. Got big assists in both of those, and all of a sudden just 1,600 gold appearing out of nowhere. So the Blink Dagger finally almost a reality once they get this tower, if they get this tower. Okay, Sand King canceled the TP. If that was seen, it should be a free tower. Oh, it was forcibly canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Vanscore actually hit a disruption on him while he was trying to TP. So they do know. Yeah, they're going to get a free kill here,
and
too.
Rubik still poured it in despite that. So, yeah, he goes down. And now Nyx. Venomancer just going to run away. Corrosive Face is up, but he has teammates nearby. He should be fine, but another fight could be breaking out right here. It looks like Team Spirit actually wants to kind of force this one. But no, and comes a Burrow Strike on a Shadow Demon, but now Sand King's kind of spread out from his teammates. He's going to take a Magic Missile to swap in offensively, and there's the concoction to finish the job right there. So that's a great use of the swap, as mentioned. Meanwhile, FNG trying to pour it out, but that poison, even if he gets out right there, he's still dead anyway. So nice kill find onto him. Poison Nova was used right there from the Venomancer. He has a Maelstrom, actually, but he's trying to survive at this point. The Unstable Concoction going to connect. They would love a Veno kill. They're going to get a Veno kill as they keep chasing. Back here, Neuropunk actually does pick up a counter kill, though, himself, and he's going for more, but he's going to be locked down now. He gets a double kill right there, but now it's Alchemist with the Chemical Rage versus him, and it seems like Ursa not liking that battle right there, especially with the Vengeful Spirit nearby.
Man, that Concoction almost didn't go off. If that doesn't go off, they don't get the Veno kill, and Alc just dies. So... oh, that was too close for comfort.
Well, it did.
But yeah, Alchemist now, this is where he's going to just explode outward. They've got some map control back. They won the team fight or two. The Manta got completed, and then 4,000 gold just appeared in his inventory.
Yay, Alchemist. God,
so we'll have to see. If he's going to go the old school build, it's going to be an Octarine next. And then your 5th item varies. It could be a
Shiva's?
An AC is probably the standard. AC or Shiva or both, yeah. I think Pipe is honestly just so valued this game, though. Like, I know you don't want to get it on your Alchemist, but he has so many things he could give to his team right now. You could give the Ags to the Jakiro for the never-ending Macro Pyre. The Shadow Demon gets double Purge. You can start even giving, like, a Moon Shard to the Venge. That was a change in 7.0 where you can hand Moon Shards off now.
Oh, wait, really? I didn't pick up on that one. Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the pocket changes that made me think this could work again.
Huh.
So yeah, picking up the Octarine first, I'm not surprised to see this. This means I want to see him start feeding Ags before he finishes another item. I don't think he will, but you get in the situation where you have so much net worth stacked on you and your team is so broke that the way the team fights go is if you die, the whole fight is over and they make a ton of gold.
Yeah, it's dangerous to be all in on that one here. I mean, Alchemist is kind of the pinnacle of that, to be fair, but this is an extra. Like, it's usually at least there's another core on the team that's at least doing all right and, you know, somewhat keeping up, but yeah, no, this continues to be the case of the Iceberg show. So I'm with you. It feels like giving off the Ags to either the Jakiro or the... What about Vengeful, actually? What does the Ags of Vengeful even do?
It leaves a spirit, basically. So you become an image when you die. And you can still cast everything except Nether Swap. So it's really cool into, like, if EWF had Slaughter TA, then, like, a Slaughter TA and another right-clicker, like, a lot of right-click, you get the negative Vengeance Aura on whoever killed you, and the positive Vengeance Aura for your team. So you can have this huge swing in physical damage if you do end up getting to the Ags.
It's
But I think I've only seen it twice in a pro game.
It's always a little awkward getting an item with the intention of wanting to die almost. So Ursa, by the way, going to be jumped here as he's trying to solo the Roshan. And here we go with the fight commencing. Macropire on him. He pops in, Rage in, cause a big epicenter though, clearing up the heroes. Shadow Demon and Sutter will fall. They get the kill on Ursa though. That's the pickle, but Iceberg's dropping and he will go down. He does have a buyback, as does Ursa, but neither one's doing so. BZZ, again, even if you poured it out right there, I still think he's dead anyways with those Venomancer dots, and they are going to finish off Roshan in the end. So losing Ursa doesn't matter. That big epicenter came out, and yeah, you see the damage on that fight. No surprise that Sand King led it.
Yeah. I thought the Ursa was going to drop there. He went super greedy and went a Desolator instead of an Axe or BKB next, or a Basher or something. So he does a ton more damage, but doesn't add anything to his survivability or his toolkit for options.
That was a huge swing of a fight for EWF right there. It just when it seemed like that maybe the Alchemist and this side of Team Spirit was starting to gain quite a bit of traction, dips right back down in favor of EWF. Say Ursa dying there hurts, but as you mentioned, the greedy choice to go Desolator, but he does have the BKB now lined up, and once he gets that BKB, yeah, it's going to be a pretty scary thing. He's already been so scary.
Yeah, the Shivas will help from Alchemist here. He is working on that. That'll give him a ton of armor, which will help him survive the Ursa in those kind of situations especially.
Venomancer finishing that Hurricane Pike, so there's that that nerf. Of course, so what? It's a 250 more gold now even for the pattern, but still finds the worth for it here.
Yeah, he did his damage spike. Like, one of the main reasons this kind of came to be a mid-hero, between the 30% XP gain and the greedy Midas he got to level 20 incredibly quickly for the 75 damage talent.
So small, the world will hardly notice.
Brought in Venomancer to the bottom lane from Kotl right there using the recall. And he helps to assist for the kill on Jakiro. And Venomancer, again, he's level 22, so he's quickly getting to that level 25 mark. And, again, both of those talents are definitely ones you can see getting. We saw yesterday, in fact, that ward talent being picked up. I know we were even discussing there. So,
Ooh, this is a big kill.
Sand King.
That is a massive kill. That's the initiation right now. But Sand King did get to his respawn talent at 15, so much shorter respawn than you would normally have.
God, that's insane. Oh, swap out right there. Actually, a swap from Ruben coming out. That's a great ability to have. We'll save his teammate, but there's a counter swap from Vengeful as he swaps in Ursa. Now Ursa's on the run, pops the BKB, says, I gotta fight. Puts on those furry stripes. Nice disruption, though. Will stall it out. Nixo in the background on Venomancer, taking out just Shadow Demon himself. And now Vengeful Spirit cannot go toe-to-toe. The lockdown, though, on Ursa as the BKB is worn off. The stun with the epicenter going off from the Sand King, though. Vengeful will end up falling. Rubik the only counter kill on the other side of it. Now Venomancer, actually. The Illusions trying to take him down. Slide's doing all that he can. And they do kill the Illusions in time to save that Venomancer just barely.
That fight was so chaotic. The Kotl almost lost the fight for the Dire Squad by blinding lighting the Vengeful up the hill. There was no dot damage to kill her off, so...
Wow, Ursa's still going in. There's a blinding light pushback on Shakira. The Ice Path initially stalling in, but that's a dead DK Phobos. The Illusions sent in from Alchemist, however. We'll just turn on them and kill those fairly quickly. So yeah, got a little scary there, but another victory of a fight for EWF. And again, that kind of goes back to the Sand King. The fact that they got picked was great, but he was up in 20 seconds, and he came up mid-fight.
They definitely got caught in the river there. You never want to be in a position where the enemy is on both sides of the hill and you're in the river. It's never a good spot to be. Look at this Alchemist army, though. All these illusions.
Yeah, just sending them out. Obviously, you can spam that here. Oh, he stunned himself. Oh, no. And now he's gone on by Ursa. The swap out. Saved his teammate.
It's fine if Avenge dies. She's basically a support, right?
At this point, yeah. Save, if anything, to save Iceberg, absolutely. Now Ursa, he's actually being turned on. Ursa all of a sudden in trouble. Pops in range, though. The Fury starts kicking in. No chemical rage. And down goes Alchemist for 85 seconds. What just happened?
Yeah, no buyback.
Iceberg throwing himself at them. They do get the kill to Venomancer, but that's just going to pop the Aegis. BZZ probably going to take down right here to the Poison as he's attempting to run. Nice macro power, but Nix, he's going to go finish him off if anything. He does just that. And now DK Phobos on the run. The Poison Nova connects. And is that going to be enough damage to actually take him down as well? The Shrine going to be popped, so probably not. But, oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Alchemist bought on a buyback for the Shivas, so... Wow. You do not want to fight without buyback at 30 minutes into the game.
Or Chemical Rage. It was down right there.
Yeah, it was. Had about 4 seconds left on cooldown when he made the turn.
That's an oversight big time, and that's at least a tier 3 tower, possibly more. In fact, yeah, they're poking in from Slaughter, and he's going to get caught now. One more auto attack should do it. There we go. In fact, he stole the magic missile. This Rubik is doing work. He has a lot of abilities to be stealing right here and using them effectively. So,
and with Cottle having the Ags, they can feel free to port back to base, heal up, and recall back in. So, the power of the Cottle being flexed here.
Yeah, there we go with the Ursa. Greenbot brought back in. That's an easy Rax kill. The Venomancer showing off his army. He is level 25, by the way, and he chose to get the minus 60-second. Okay. Almost. I thought he almost had the Ward Talon the way those wards were doing damage right there, but not even necessary. And I gotta say, you know, we had that crush, that absolute stomp in game number 1, and you know, part of us was like, all right, is this gonna be that 2-0 stomp here for Team Spirit? Absolutely not. EWF showing that they are a decent team here in game 2. It's good to see.
And a lot of it came on the back of that like 8-0 streak they went on, where they got a pick after a pick after a pick, and then a team fight win on EWF into a Roshan. Like there was a string of about 6 minutes there. It was just a disaster for Spirit. And now the Alk is looking to go BKB, which means he's going to sell his armlet for that, or backpack the armlet. And we're seeing what happens when you're playing a true 4 Protect 1. I mean, that is absolutely what this game is.
Oh, yeah.
And the punish ability with an Ursa is insane. All they have to do is post that Ursa up on Alchemist and make Spirit blow everything else to try to protect him. And then the rest of Spirit just dies to everything else. The Poison Nova damage, the Epicenter, the Coddle eliminates. When you don't have any items, you just die to that like incidental AoE damage. And it's proving very, very strong right now.
Yeah, no, this, as you mentioned, this really is the prime 4-4-1 strat. And Alchemist, I mean, he can definitely withstand quite a fight, but Ursa does make that somewhat difficult. And obviously, as we saw in the last fight, if there happens to be that moment too, where he just simply that short window as it is, but if he doesn't have that chemical rage up, then he's going to draw pretty fast himself, even with some team support nearby. But yeah, the support surviving, and in this case, everyone around him is proving to be the difficult task. So definitely control right now for EWF, and the Basher, the Abyssal Blade is going to be coming for Ursa, I'm sure. Did he actually get it? No, he actually has a Hyperstone he purchased here. So
that's on Veno. That's for the,
that's Veno. Okay. God, he only has 400 gold. I thought he would have bought it in something there. He just got the Basher, so makes sense. Mjolnir finished on Venomancer, as mentioned there. And now he has that Chrysalis queued up into the data list eventually. So we're seeing that right click from him doing plenty.
Yeah, the Alk needs to make the decision. He's using Backpack effectively, keeping the Quelling Blade in the bottle in there. But he's got to make the call. Buyback, BKB. Yeah, he bought out a buyback again. I really, really don't like this.
For BKB, though, it's one of those items that it's like if you're going to not have a buyback, getting a BKB, sometimes you can warrant.
But the other option would have been selling the armlet, having buyback, and having the BKB.
Okay. Nope. Nice Lotus Orb right there.
Stuff.
Yeah, he's dead. He tried to TP out.
She just bought out a buyback as well. Bought a hood.
Yeah, but it's essentially a support. Oh, and Alchemist misclicked his BKB. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's just getting worse.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he doesn't have it now. So, with no Vengeful, no BKB for the next 40 seconds here. Here's a window for EWF, if I ever saw one.
They're waiting for Roshan. I don't think they'll want to look to go uphill until then. They'll push all the lanes out to the base of Spirit and say, all right, push the lanes while we do Roshan.
They're going to get the tier 2 tower most likely.
Might be a trade. Tier 1 bottom's taking a ton of damage.
Tier 1. That is a tier 1 tower. That's only the second tower kill. Wow.
Top tower has fallen.
Yeah, really not getting a lot out of the Jakira this game in terms of what you'd expect it to do.
True.
Didn't put any pressure on the towers early on. We saw how long it took for them to get to tier 1 top. It was 3 bloody fights and a lot of deaths from Phobos.
So easy secondary tower kill. Sand King gonna push out the bottom lane meanwhile. They are roaming over here. It's Team Spirit kind of desperate, trying to just get any kind of a pick. So they have a little bit of an opportunity here, but more ports coming in. Maybe not so much Iceberg.
Man.
Oh, he's going to be running right in, but he runs right into a bit of a trap right here. And he has popped the BKB, pops the Chemical Rage. Lotus Orb applied to Venomancer. He still has that Poison Nova, not using it just yet, though. He's going to die. He might as well kind of case. But Ursa's now here. Is putting under the Alchemist, but they don't even have Jakiro here in the midst of this fight. And they do finish off Alchemist really quickly as he comes down out of the disruption. Shadow Demon at least ports out in time. But looks like Slardar may be a casualty here.
Oh, very dead.
So buyback ready, but
Not on the Slaughter, though.
true.
He decided to get a headdress towards a Helm with Thumb as opposed to having buyback.
It's, I don't know, it just feels like a losing game here for Team Spirit. They can't win these fights. The support should just way too squishy.
The Alchemist had his Radiance and his Armlet by 1430 or something. And while he exploded out after that, his team gave away way too much while he was trying to get to that next item or two.
And now they're just going to group up top lane, push it in. You really would love to force that buyback here, obviously, for EWF. Oh, they want to get the Roshan, though. It's going to be recalled in. And here we go. So great timing.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, and the Alch really doesn't want to burn buyback with 20 seconds left on his res. Not so much because he's worried about putting it on cooldown or anything, but because he needs 2 lives for these fights.
Easy tier 3. And Aegis onto Ursa.
Still 2 minutes until daytime, so we don't have the massive Coddle heals coming on, so EWF may choose to back up, reset, and do this again. Kind of wait for your daytime, go buy any items you need.
The swap on Avengeful! Rubik stealing that swap has definitely made some big plays with it. And all the reflect of the Lotus Orb on the concoction right there having some fun too. Rubik's done a lot of work this game.
EWF is impressing me.
Yeah. Again, that first game not so much, but EPG in their matchup against them in the best of 1, and now here against a very good team in Team Spirit. It's solid here in game number 2. I agree with you 100%. This is definitely a team to start looking out for more and more perhaps, but as I say, this initiation kind of happening. Neuropunk, again, he has that Aegis worst case scenario. Just going to go right for the melee racks, trying to popped. Trying to stall as much as possible using the disruption right there. Unstable Concoction going off. They could kill Ursa. They will. The Poison Nova going off, though, so watch the life bill start ticking down a little bit. I don't know if it really connected to most, actually. Yeah, the BKB was popped, so not really. And they just get out after the Aegis. They did their work. No point to stick around. The top racks,
I mean, they took the racks for the rush, and they're okay with that. And if the network distribution was spread better, look at how this is stacked. It is Alchemist, and then it was 5 Dire Heroes, and then it was the 4 Radiant. Venge just now kind of getting ahead because she just got donated an Aghanims, which artificially upped her net worth. But before that, it was literally all of the Dire before any of the other Radiant heroes.
Is she the only one so far? Yeah, no one else has it. So we are going to get to see that illusion. It's like I was saying earlier, it's the idea of like promoting dying to kind of help the cause. But in a game like this, it makes sense. She's going to die.
It's kind of like a free buyback at this point.
Yeah.
It gives them an extra body in the fight. And the hood that she is working on now, I mean, this needed to come out forever ago. Or the pipe. And yeah, I was actually informed the Venge can you swap when in the Ag Spirit as well.
Oh, really? Okay, that's extra powerful. Even Shadow Demon goes down. We're going to see it come into play right here. She is going to die, so here comes that Spirit, but just kill the Spirit. And all of a sudden, there we go with the Eggs.
She forgot she had eggs for a second.
So
Did
much
nothing
for
with
that.
the Spirit.
Yeah, she kind of just stood there. And no buybacks in either. So this is the beginning of the end.
This should close out game 1.
2.
I forgot game 1 existed with how fast
it was really fast. A 13-minute victory essentially for Team Spirit. So pretty fast game, but much different here in game 2 again for EWF. And that's why I said to you, it's
holding
overselling one
Alk
game.
has buyback.
Yeah, it's like why even try at this point?
You buy back the Alk, you hold here. Veno bought back.
All right, there's something I guess.
The dream is real. Maybe.
So real. They're going to lose the racks right here. The jump on Jakir on the background. Easy kill on him. Shrine is popped. Here we go. Last-ditch effort is finally here. Alchemist going to charge in. Gets a stun actually on Ursa. And Ursa may end up falling. Okay, well, kill Ursa. So there's that. Venomancer comes back in. He doesn't have his ultimate, but he has plenty of right-click damage. But you're right, that's a dieback. But guess what? He's back up in 45 seconds anyways. Because talent.
And he is pretty much built out. He's got every item he needs to end the game, so not super impactful to not have the buyback.
Yeah, no, with that talent, I think that's why he so aggressively bought back right there. It's like, why really worry that much?
Yeah, because when you buy back, it does actually increase your next respawn time by how long you were still dead when you bought back. But when your base res cooldown is only like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, doesn't really impact much.
Scythe on Coddle now.
Although I'm not, I mean, I know this game looks extremely bleak for Spirit. I'm not counting them out yet. The Salk has a lot of gold he can still feed to the team. The Venge is closing in on the pipe, which could make a pretty big difference. It'd be one of those things that EWF has to be a little careful with how they take this. If they keep control of the game and keep it slow and paced, maybe even waiting until the next Roshan to close it out, then they should be able to still seal this game. But I'm not entirely counting Spirit out. This Alp can hold forever.
All right, we got a believer here.
I'm not saying Dream is totally dead. To be fair, they had let's just say a Centaur in the offlane with an Ags right now.
Going back to that, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, Jakiro is a bad pick, yeah.
So little.
It's very evident. They won 13 minutes in the first game. Clearly, they want to have a little bit of fun here and try out the whole Jakiro offlane. But
I don't even think the idea of it was bad, but your Venge Max missile, which stopped you from pushing early, and Phobos gave way too much up with the way he died in the offlane. They didn't get anything out of his bonus levels.
Oh, swap on Ursa, go for the quick kill, but he gets support immediately. The Poison Nova going off, and there's a counter swap defensively from Rubik yet again. The Lotus Orb's going off. Iceberg standing in the midst of it. He has a Chemical Rage up, gets the kill on Rubik as well as the Sand King. So 2 dead. It is very difficult to push against this, as mentioned. And so they once again will hold right here. So they continue to keep the dream alive as they save the racks. But again, what is their winning condition? They only have 2 tower kills. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, how long can they truly do this until they actually push out and get objectives here?
Well, before your time, there was a 3-hour game for one of the Chinese qualifiers for the major.
Oh, boy.
So you just need like one of those where everyone's getting to 6 items, and couple that with an Ags not taking an item slot on everybody on Spirit, coupled with a Moon Shard donated to everyone on Spirit, then maybe. Because to be perfectly fair, this Dire lineup does not scale as well as Spirit's. The Slardar is very, very powerful once he hits 25 and could get to some serious items. Now, the one thing I don't get is the team decided they needed a pipe on Spirit, obviously. The Slardar bought one and the Venge bought one. Okay, never mind.
Double pipe.
Venge might buy here.
Okay. Glimmer came.
Good Shadow Demon ult. Very good Shadow Demon ult.
Purge slowing him down quite a bit there, so managed to stay alive. Nice support.
And the problem is Spirit knows they still have a chance in this game, but it relies on Alchemist not dying for 3 minutes. So we saw him pushing out top a little bit there, but as soon as it got even close to scary, he pieced out. If he gets caught once, this game's over.
He handed off an axe to somebody. Okay, the Shadow Demon.
Mm-hmm. Double Purge.
The
Triple
charges
Purge.
now.
Yeah, Triple Purge. So essentially you can perma-purge this Ursa.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that's what he just chains it on, really. Kind of take him out of the fight, almost. That is his bane, is just the complete kite factor.
One thing I will say is a bit of a purist competitive player. It makes me sad most of the purge effects don't work on allies. The Fusel was the final nail in the coffin for most of the purging. And it's to try to simplify mechanics. It's a lot easier if you know, if you just can't purge allies, you don't have to know what skills you can and can't purge. But yeah, this is the question. Can they kill the Alk?
They're going to find somebody here. That would be the Slaughter. He pops the BKB, so he's going in. There's one purge, though. So Ursa having some trouble. Just goes right for the racks, trying to decide what to do. Pops in a rage. Obviously difficult to kill, but they're still going to kill him pretty quickly in the end. The swap in onto Vengeful Spirit right there. Poison Nova goes off, but now the Venomancer again is going to fall.
And you have more purges. You can just keep purging anyone that gets out of position. The Sand King had already burrowed in, so he couldn't go back in. And this is what I mean. This hold is actually possible.
What took so long for this hold to become so powerful?
Pipe.
The pipe you really think is the key factor?
Oh, yeah.
The 2 pipes?
Oh, 100%. It's 10% magic resist across the board, so you're flat out mitigating everyone's damage except the Ursa. And, I mean, Veno right-click, sure, but he's got to be in range to do that. If he's in range of swap. So the pipe is just absolutely massive.
Sand King living life on the edge there. I'm not sure what that was about, but...
And I don't believe pipe has the same restriction as mech where you can't double pipe. So I believe if they pipe the Poison Nova, it goes away in about 3 to 4 seconds with the damage. I guess it's 5. So as soon as that goes away the first time, the second pipe gets used. And you mitigate almost the entire Venomancer ult, or the entire Epi plus some of the Veno. So you're essentially knocking 1.5 heroes out of this fight by having the pipes.
So it suggests it doesn't stack on top of one another, but yeah, you're saying so once the first one is worn down, then you activate the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Right after, okay.
Yeah, and all right, while we have a little bit of a slow moment, we can flip through and look at the talents too, as to what people may be going for the 25 talent. So Slardar has got 20 strength or 10% bash chance. In a game like this, I want to see him take the bash chance. I really don't think 20 strength is going to change whether he lives or dies in a fight, and the possibility of locking up that Ursa during an rage is too important.
Shadow Demon.
Shadow Demons is interesting. Soul Catcher cooldown's really nice, but if you get that purge damage with 3 purges, it can be a difference maker. But I would guess we're going to see the Soul Catcher cooldown brings it down to 4 seconds with a 12-second duration, so we can throw it on multiple people in a team fight. Alk is obvious. He already took 30% lifesteal, so that one's done. Jakiro. Normally, I would say respawn time. 100% of the time. But in this game, it's this weird use case where maybe that Ice Path is worth it. You have so much setup for it. You're going to be hitting it on someone. And if you can like stop Ursa from BKBing or stop Veno from Novaing or something, might be a difference maker for them. But the Venge is the one I'm really curious. He's closing it on 25. He can either get a ton of damage for the Alk, or he can make it so his Magic Missile goes through Ursa's BKB.
I think the Vengeance are, man. I mean, that's so good at amping the damage. But, I mean, you're right. It's really just the Alchemist that's getting the damage jam, and no one else is, like, that much of a scary right-click presence, so...
Well, and you're talking an almost 2-second stun into a 5-second BKB.
Yeah.
You're mitigating so much of that BKB time by being able to stun him once.
But it's so involved. I mean, they already have the Purge, like, to really kite the Ursa, so... And
it'd be a way to peel off for your Alchemist, though. If the Alch does get caught with the BKB on Ursa and the Abyssal, like, it's a way to save him, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I would take the Magic Missile, but I think both have use.
Very aggressive swap right there, Nakata, with again the counter swap from Rubik. He's on top of that. Sand King in the back on Ursa. He's just sitting on top of Shadow Demon. He's going to take him out. No, a disruption will keep him alive. Rubik picked off in the background. The Poison Nova going off. Shadow Demon in the pipe, helping to survive the Glimmer Cape as well. But here comes the epicenter. Down goes Shadow Demon, and he is staying dead. They kill Ursa, but of course the Age is bringing him right back up. Sand King pops a Lotus Orb. In the front lines, Vengeful Spirit is getting low. We'll swap out at the last second there. The Lotus Orb reflection right there. Alchemist is trying to chase. He doesn't have Chemical Rage up currently. We'll be up in 1 second, though. They get the kill onto the Sand King, but the kite is kind of real on this Alchemist. He's having trouble. The Ice Path, though, to lock down the Ursa now, but there's that Abyssal Blade locked down, and Alchemist is going to fall dead for 120 seconds. Buys back immediately, but this is going to be the melee reacts. No, the fortification at the last second. Alchemist comes in, unstable concoction on a Venomancer, and the double kill for Iceberg. So we're still going. Ursa finally kills the melee. He wants the range. He's all in on this, baby. Here's the stun with the Burrow stuck in the background. Can he get the range racks? No, the Lotus Orb trying to do everything he can to kill the range rack. Get the Mega Creeps. The reflection's coming out, but it's not enough. They finally kill the Ursa. And now Yogurt here on the Sand King also going to tick down. So they dive the range racks, essentially, but they can't kill it still.
I mean, it's the range racks with 100 health. They've got the position now to do this. You just throw bodies at it. Literally, all it takes is one blink and a couple autos, and it's gonna die. So, this is the death knell. Spirit did their best. I'm not saying the Alp can't hold against Megas either, because he can, but Huh.
Anything is possible.
We have Aghanims up on everyone other than Slaughter now on the Radiant side. He bought one out for Jakiro. He bought one out for himself for the stats.
No moon shards yet. Got
No moon shards yet.
Too. 3,000
Yeah.
life eventual. Jeez.
I'm a little surprised to see him not get a moon shard over an Ags for himself. But I guess what it comes down to is the fact that he doesn't right click. Yeah, they got megas. Then I just force staffed in and two-shot it.
I mean, yeah, it was going to happen. Can't stop that. So, do have the megas now. And so there's not only the obvious that they're just going to be that much stronger, but the less gold you get from them now. So, it really puts you on your back. But like I said, they could keep holding, but it continues to be the question of into what winning condition. So
yeah, before they had a win condition, whereas as long as the racks stood, if they kept winning team fights and getting slotted out till the point where Slaughter could actually be a fighting force, then maybe they had a shot. But at this point, yeah, it's going to be so hard for them to push out of the base and really make any headroom on this game.
Gold for me.
Man, if those pipes just came up any earlier, it could have been a totally different game.
yeah, didn't really prioritize them as much. And hindsight, I'm sure they are regretting that quite a bit, but they are going to stick around as long as possible here. Ultimately to force a Game 3, pending an insane comeback from Team Spirit. But, yeah, third game looking like it's in the books right here. With EWF versus Team Spirit now in this quarterfinal matchup. So it's a matter of when that final push is going to be happening from EWF, maybe even once again waiting for yet another Roshan. Could be on the menu here. Couldn't blame them if that's what they want. Especially with how they're holding so well.
Yeah, they want to wait 4 minutes for sure, just for Sand King buyback. The one shot you have of losing is chain deaths, one after the other. If Sand King can't buy back and gets picked, maybe something disastrous happens. So at this point, they're an 85 to 90% chance to win. And if they let that wait till all their buybacks are up and everyone's got their gold, then it's more like 95%.
Alchemist checking it out, but ultimately sitting in his base course. Not going to go too far out right here. Gonna let them come to him, but they're kind of poking in as EWF maybe does want to try to finish things sooner than later, but if anything, kind of just keeping the creep waves pushed up, yeah. Letting the creeps do their thing as they just control every bit of the outside of the map.
The way you try to come back, the way you try to take that like 10% chance to win at this point is you use Shadow Demon Illusions and Alch Illusions to push out a wave on each lane, and you smoke as 5 into them. Like around the time the next Aegis comes, or around the time you think you have a decent chance of initiating. Because if you look at how split up the CWF lineup is, they're making sure every lane stays pushed. And in doing this, they're not as 5. So if you can get all those illusions out and then smoke, you maybe could find a couple kills and see if you can get some headroom there.
But then even kills like a Venomancer, obviously with the minus 60-second respawn time, all these heroes have some kind of respawn time talent, it looks like. I guess the only one is the Ursa. Technically doesn't, and I guess the Rubik. So 3 of the 5, though. Do have less of a respawn time at this point as, oh, Ursa. Keep going aggressive. Yogurt jumps in. They go for an aggressive play on Eventual Spirit right here, but he'll survive, gets the support.
Yeah, and it was kind of important for Spirit to try to make that play during nighttime so the Kata Lags wasn't healing people up in the fight. Most of the damage from Spirit is very flat and delayed. You know, it's the Radiance and the Shivas and, well, swap in.
Here we go. The Nyx on Venomancer. Can he maybe get the Poison Nova off at least? Yes, he used it at the last second of the script. If I'm going to die, I might as well do this. He is going to die in the long run. Ursa, though, in the background, getting the bash onto the Vengeful Spirit right here. But now Ursa is being locked down. Ice Path coming out, locking him down more so. The Epicenter from Yogurt, not doing a whole lot of damage, though. Pipes mitigating plenty, as always. Another swap onto the Ursa here. This time, Ursa probably is going to fall. And yet again, dead for another 100 seconds. Again, has a buyback, but will get picked off, so they're going to get a little over-ambitious. The swap with the Blink Dagger immediately steals another swap. Just swap after swap. And he actually will escape. Again, the Rubik continues to make some big plays here.
Yeah, those Rubik's counter swaps have been amazing.
He is on point with those, it feels like. But, yeah, so they kind of poked in a little too much, but Venomancer, he's up, and Ursa up in 70. Aegis, or Roshan even, should also be up the near future, it seems like. But they decide to do a little too much there before they get that Roshan, maybe losing patience here for EWF. It's got to be a little frustrating, you know, knowing how close you are, continuing to be close, so close to a victory, you just can't do it. It's in your grasp.
Yeah, and a big part of it's the mental game at this point. You have to have the fortitude to just...
Kind of
You're right there. You see the megas. You see them pushing in. Although these T4s do regenerate on the Radiant side, so with this Alchemist, they can hold the base forever. It's going to take a move from EWF to actually close this.
I just love how Rubik is so on top. Gets swapped in, immediate counter swap onto the Vengeful. So it's like they just trade places twice.
Fast.
Yeah, he's so like he's just ready for it. He has that button ready to go. So continue to be fairly impressive in that aspect.
And I've actually known some of the better Rubiks I know actually use their side mouse buttons for steal and then the swap or the stolen spell, so they can just do one and then the other, like bing bing, as opposed to trying to hit different keys on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And it's one of those benefits where for anyone still on legacy keys, I mean, sorry guys, QWER is the way of the future. Do you even know what legacy keys are?
No. For skills?
So Dota 1 had skills that were, your hotkey was a letter and the skill was kind of the baseline of it. That was the general idea.
Yeah.
So your skill hotkeys were all over the keyboard. And so a good number of the Dota 1 veterans still play on that and have them all memorized, and it's muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
But it gets interesting when they're playing something like Invoker and their hands just flying across the keyboard, because every different spell has its own hotkey.
I remember that now. I didn't remember that was referred to.
Oh, they're going.
They find Alchemist, and he is probably going to die. The swap out, not enough. He will die. Again, a buyback is ready, though. Figure he's going to have to use it pretty quickly right here. Vengeful also dying. There we go. There's a buyback on Alchemist. The Vengeful Illusion still doing some work. Ursa, he's going to be purged. As he's walking away, though. That BKB pops. So Ursa did end up getting a butterfly, by the way, to assist.
Yeah,
right
good
here.
pickup overall. If he does get gone on, it's a way to make it difficult to focus him.
All right, so they're going in to the base at this point. No Aegis. Roshan is up. They wanted to just fall back and cleanly do that, but I mean, Vengeful, he is staying dead currently. Does he have the illusion up still?
He's gonna have to buy. He's trying to look for like a swap back in the base or something.
There's a swap offensively onto the Sodar, and he's dead just like that. Shadow Demon is also going to get picked off. He is not buying back, so no purges anymore.
You have to buy back the Slider and fight this now. You cannot wait this out.
Epicenter initiation. They catch the Vengeful. There's the buyback finally, but Vengeful taking so much damage. That would be a dieback, remember. Ursa may be overcommitting, though. Now he pops his BKB yet again and will start running away. And the creep's starting to do more and more damage as time goes on, though. So they're holding, kinda, but now they have to deal with these creeps and the Macrobar with an axe effect put down. And the Sand King will Burl Strike in, though.
Stolen swap again.
And Rubik finally dies. Oh, they killed Alchemist, so there we go.
That will seal it up.
Radiant's middle tower has
Whew,
fallen.
what a game. An hour-long game. Felt like it could have ended in about 30 minutes, but
Yep.
they did not let it finish.
That was like 24 minutes was the first tracks, 31 was all but megas.
GG, well played. EWF will force a third and final game here in the Dota 2 Champions League quarterfinal matchup. So well played by them, deserving of the victory, but it was a grind and a half, man.